Hello and welcome to Digital Marketing Interview. My name is Chuma, and with me today on this interview is a gentleman by the name called Zambasa. Welcome, Zambasa, to the interview.
Thank you, Kuda. How are you today?
I'm doing just fine. Thank you very much. So, just an introduction about myself. I'm going to be asking Greens a number of questions. My name is Chuma. I'm an internet marketer and online business owner. I'm based in Zimbabwe. I run a coaching program that is called internetproclub.com. It's basically a program where we educate people on the different ways of how they can actually profit from the internet. Now, I have the gentleman by the name Greens, and I'm just going to ask, who is Greens? Please tell us who is Greens.
Thanks, Kuda. My name is Zambasa. I've been involved in online marketing since the year 2004. That's when I started developing an interest in understanding, the concepts behind online marketing. What happened one day was that I was on the internet and I saw this sales page for a particular product. It was an internet marketing product. And what really caught my attention there was the story of a 27-year-old petrol attendant who'd managed to transform his life through the internet, and was at that particular point in time earning about $30,000 a month. And that really caught my attention there. So from then on, it piqued my curiosity. I started doing some experiments, setting up some online businesses and trying what worked from Zimbabwe, where I was from, and what worked here, what didn't work in the local context of where I was at. So that later on led to me starting a blog called Income Freedom Zimbabwe, which I ran from the year 2012 to 2016. Basically, I was sharing my experiences there of the lessons that I learned in internet marketing. And then from 2015, I've been an online marketing consultant and trainer, doing various online consultation jobs with different organizations. And one of my specialities was in social media strategy for organizations. And then I've also authored 2 ebooks. The first one is called Content Marketing Blueprint. And this particular ebook, what I was just sharing is how someone can actually start a blog and profit from that blog, monetize that blog and make money out of it. So this book I called the Content Marketing Blueprint. And then after that, some years later, I did what I called the Information Blueprint. And basically what that is, it is a blueprint of how someone can actually create an information product that they can profit from. So that's more or less about myself today.
Thank you very much, Chris. So it means you started a long time ago, 2004. We are actually doing this interview in 2017. This is September.
Yes.
September 2017.
That's actually October.
October 2017.
Yes.
And it has done internet business for over 10 years now. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take back the listeners, our listeners today, Greens. I hope you allow me to do that.
Please do.
How I managed to meet Greens and how he has helped me to actually triple my sales and triple my what I was actually doing. So the picture that you can see on the screen right now is a picture of myself standing in a small crowd. I think that's about just 7 people. This is my first offline event in Zimbabwe in 2014, and I was teaching about Facebook strategies. And in 2014 I was doing that, and one of the articles that I read online was about PayPal, and actually Green saw one of my articles in 2015, and then he reached out to me and then he said, you know what, I have something similar that I've been working on for the past years, and coming across your blog made me realize that I could connect with you. And with no time, we planned an event which we called Internet Advantage Seminar. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Yes, okay. And we did the Internet Advantage Seminar in July 2015. And I followed what Greens showed me by then, because I was actually running events but I didn't know how to promote them properly. And the first thing that Greens advised me was, 1, you need to create a lead magnet, something that people are going to exchange their name, their phone number, and their email form. Okay, you give it away for free. They give you their details. So the concept there was, as you can see that on your screen right now, you see there's a free ebook, and there is some text there that is written, and it says, let us show you how you can earn money online right here in Zimbabwe. Learn the fundamentals of internet marketing from two Zimbabwean internet marketers. And there we go, there's some more text, and there's the magic happened when people left their details to get the ebook. Okay, so I'm gonna explain that later, how it actually increased my sales. And then in 2015 July, we hosted an event that myself and Greens, and about over 60 people attended. Is that correct?
Round about that figure, yes.
Round about that figure attended. After doing, all we did was just Facebook marketing, following what Greens was actually telling me, and I had to learn a lot, which I'm gonna be explaining here. In 2016, March 2016, I organized an event. As you can see that on your screen right now, one of my events in 2017, over 400 people attended that event. That's when I realized, wow, a lot of people, they really want to know about digital marketing, and I never looked back. Again, in October 2016, I hosted over 200 people that came to the event, doing exactly what Greens showed me on how to properly market an event through his strategies in digital marketing. As you can see, that is the picture of one of the events that I did in October 2016, and this is what Greens Zambasa showed me. One, he showed me how to create a lead magnet. A lead magnet is something that you give away in exchange of a contact. And as I was doing that on my events, I was giving a lot of free information on the internet, on Facebook to be precise, following what Greens teaches. That increased my database, okay, the people that I could contact and give them updates and what I'm up to. And also Greens taught me how to properly write information so that people want to come to your event and want to buy from you. And also he showed me how to set up some email follow-up. When someone send you their details, email address, it could be phone number or anything, how to sequence and send out some emails a day after, or 2 days after, or a week after. And also selling at the event. One of the things that I didn't do when I would organize an event, I would speak to people, and at the end I would say goodbye. But Greens told me that, you know what, once people download your free information PDF, you're going to capture their contacts, and then you're going to send them emails, and then when they come to the event, you teach them what you need to teach them, and then you offer them a service. Let's say you can say, I need to do digital marketing for you. Let's say I need to do Facebook marketing for you, and then you charge them. At the end of the seminar, you create business connections, new business connections. So this is in short what Greens showed me. But where I came from doing events, was doing events in front of about 7 people to doing events in front of over 400 people, just following what Greens had told me. Now, this is one of my favorite quotes. I am a giver. I choose to share my value, talents, skills, knowledge, imagination, time with a huge number of people. I took this from one of the books that I've actually read. So that's the story about me and Greens, and how he has helped me to grow my business and my list of the contacts of people that I can actually contact with regards to promoting properly the events or any kind of business that I'm actually promoting. And to this day, I still use the strategies that Greens told me. Now, back to the main of the moment right now. Greens Zambasa, what is really digital marketing? What is it all about?
Okay, Kuda. Digital marketing, what I've discovered about digital marketing is that a lot of people have their own definitions about digital marketing, and this is mine. Digital marketing is where you use digital media, be it online, the internet, be it video, be it audio, and other similar platforms, to actually communicate a marketing message. So in a nutshell, I would say that it's a utilization of digital media to communicate what you want to communicate regarding your product or your service.
Absolutely, thank you very much. So now that leads us to our question: what is really good about digital marketing? And yeah, can you tell us what you love about it?
I mean, there's so much to love about it, Kuda. Digital marketing is the wave of the future. What I can tell you is this. When you look at the evolution of marketing, we went from word of mouth, where people used to talk about people that they knew, people they liked, and people that they trusted and recommended their products and services. I always give this example that, imagine two farmers. One is a dairy cow farmer, the other one is a vegetable farmer. If the dairy cow farmer hears about somebody who wants vegetables, you will recommend the vegetable farmer, because it's someone that he knew, he liked, and he trusted. That is how marketing started. And then when you now go through all the evolution, the printing press was invented. The message now became more impersonal. The message was now able to go as far as the written word was able to go. And then from then on, we had the mass media, looking at television and radio coming in there. But it was all one-sided communication. And then after that, we had the internet coming up, and still it was one-sided communication when it started out. But then we had social media. And when social media came in, it gave the consumer of the information the power to actually communicate with the originator of the content. So when you look at digital media, we are talking about a platform that allows for interaction between the content creator, originator, and the content consumer. So now what that does, or what that did, is that it created a digital economy whereby people could actually reach out to each other, and people could actually, organizations could actually get information in real time. Whereby in the old days, when, if let's say for example an organization wanted to do a survey to find out what the market thinks about their products or services, they would give it about 2 weeks or 3 weeks or even more to actually get feedback from the market. But with digital media, with the way things are right now, you can actually get instant feedback from your market. You know exactly what the market is, or what the market is thinking. So it allows for innovation with regards to product development. It's more user friendly when it comes to the perspective of the consumer. So when I look at digital media, I mean, there's so much to love. I'm just giving you a tip of the iceberg, but there's so much to love about digital media.
Absolutely, I can see that you've got so much to share. Okay, now my other question for you is, what are the top 3 things that someone should know about digital marketing, or someone, if I should be precise, in order for someone to be successful in digital marketing?
Okay, Kuda, that's a good question. One of the very first things that I always teach people when it comes to any form of marketing, don't get bogged down in technology. That's the biggest thing that I've seen a lot of people facing challenges with. What am I saying? We're always looking at the latest technology. What's the latest fad? What is the latest biggest social media platform? What's the latest email marketing system and stuff like that? All that stuff is important, but the most important thing that I need people to look at Kuda is this. When it comes to marketing, it's all about relationships. That's the most important thing. I was giving you an example there on about the evolution of marketing. How marketing started was, people would market on behalf of each other. You'd recommend someone that you knew, you liked, and you trusted. So when the evolution actually came full circle to where we are right now, when you look at the digital landscape, social media has given the people that platform whereby they can actually communicate back and forth with the service providers. So now the people, or rather the companies or the organizations or the individuals who actually make the most money when it comes to marketing online are the people who are known, who are liked, and are trusted. I don't know if that's making sense, Kuda.
Absolutely.
Yes. So that's what you need to focus on right now when it comes to digital marketing, and then the technology only comes after that. You need to establish relationships, and that's the catchword there. You need to establish what relationships with your market. So the media, the platforms that we use, the different platforms that we use, be it social media, be it email marketing, be it video marketing, is all based around relationships. I don't know if I've answered your question for that.
Absolutely, yes. It's really making so much sense, because at the end of the day, when you're looking at social medias and the strategies that you teach, you create a relationship first, and then once you create a relationship with people, then they become buyers who buy your product over and over and over again. Is that correct?
Exactly. It's easier for you to buy from someone that you trust and you like than buying from a total stranger. So one of the things that I also love about digital media, let me just throw this in as well, is that it allows you to actually go through a sales process. Statistically speaking, in marketing, we say that it takes about 7 exposures before someone buys a product or service. So digital media allows you to actually do that without you being present. Do you understand me?
Absolutely.
So instead of you being limited to a geographical location, you can actually be in 1,000 or 10,000 or 100,000 locations all at the same time, doing your selling and your marketing. So what you're doing is that you want to get those 7 interactions, and with each interaction, what you call the trust barrier is being lowered each time. When you meet someone for the first time in a marketing scenario, the barrier of trust is like very, very high, because they don't trust you, they don't know you. But with each interaction, with each exposure, that barrier becomes lower and lower and lower and lower. So we are using technology to actually get that effect of actually lowering that barrier to a place whereby they now trust you and are able to buy you. They view you as a friend and someone that they trust as an authority in that field.
Absolutely. So what's the best way to get started with digital marketing? I understand you are sharing a lot of information here. What is the best way? From your experience, you started in 2014 and that's
Yes.
This is 2017, and someone is like, wow, I really want to get started with this digital marketing, and what is the best way to get started?
Okay, there are a lot of resources online that you could actually look up. I'll be sharing one of the resources that I created at the end of this interview. But what I can maybe say is that the best place to actually get your feet wet and to learn your trade is for you to start blogging. If you can start a blog and begin to learn to write, begin to learn the fundamentals of actually promoting your content and actually creating your content and how to promote it, how to actually write what you call copywriting, the language that sells a product or service to an individual. Just begin to gradually get your feet wet in different aspects. Digital marketing and internet marketing are very, very broad subjects, but it just takes you going one step at a time, going step by step, and eventually you get to the level whereby you are very confident in your abilities and comfortable in what you do. What I can just basically say, maybe in a nutshell, is that it's all about really making that effort of actually getting in there and practicing. We can talk a lot, we can really share a lot of concepts, but if you don't actually get your feet wet and practice what you are learning, then it's all in vain. I'll tell you that this is a lesson that took me a very, very long time to learn, because when I started out, I didn't have anyone to mentor me. I didn't have anyone to actually look up to in this particular field. So I did a lot of my own research, and I practiced a lot of things. I had a lot of failures and some successes along the way, but it only made me better. It made me stronger. But one of the best lessons that I can actually give out right now is that when it comes to digital marketing, look for one particular arm of digital marketing and focus on that. Master that. When you've mastered it, then you can actually move on to the next one.
Absolutely. Thank you very much. You have so much to share, my friend. And now, how long does it take for someone to become proficient at digital marketing? Does it take a year, 2 months, 2 weeks, 2 days, 30 minutes? Or after watching this interview, someone will be actually up and running with digital marketing?
Okay, that's a very difficult question to answer, Kuda, in that I think it really depends on the individual. But I'll say this. For you to actually create an information product on any particular subject, you only need to spend about 15 hours of research in that particular area for you to actually be able to write an ebook. Something that actually someone will be comfortable to pay money for. So what I basically say is this: if you can put in 15 hours into learning, like I said, digital marketing has got a lot of different arms. But if you can actually spend 15 hours in research on a particular subject or topic, you'll actually be able to actually get something going.
Absolutely. So you're saying the minimum is actually 15 hours?
Yes, I can say the minimum is 15 hours of research, yes.
I'm sure that's going to be great. Now, this is actually one of the questions that When I was preparing these questions, I was wondering, would it make sense to ask this? Because honestly, I've used your strategies and they've actually worked and the advice. So, will your methods or advice work for anyone?
They'll work for anyone if you put in the work. That's what I can say. What I've discovered most of the times is that when people see a success story like yours or what you've just been sharing here, they don't really now take the time to put in the work. And at the end of the day, they expect the results without the effort. So now what I'm just basically saying is that, we need to put in the time. We need to put in the effort. And when we put in the time of putting the effort, we'll be able now to get the results. So that's what I can say about that one.
So what you're saying is just like massive action equals massive results.
Definitely.
Absolutely. So now, how much experience does someone need to start promoting their business through digital marketing? Should I have a college degree? Should I be a university student? Should I be in the 11th grade? Okay, how much experience does someone need?
Okay, Kuda. I'll just maybe refer back to the 15-hour benchmark that I gave earlier on. Once you put in your time in learning, in researching, the next thing that you need to focus on now is confidence in your abilities. Are you confident in what you're putting out there? That's the next question. One of the other things I didn't also maybe throw in there is that for you to be the top 4% of experts in the world on any given subject, you only need to read about 3 books on the particular subject. You'll be in the top 4% in the world. So now for you to actually start promoting your business, I think the onus is on you as the promoter to actually take the time to equip yourself. And it really doesn't take much, but the unfortunate thing is that, as human beings, sometimes we're really lazy. We don't want to spend time in really, equipping ourselves and learning. But like I'm saying, it only takes like 3 or 4 books for you to be in the top 4% in the world, not in your town, your village, or your country, but in the world. So spend the time, look for a particular almost subject that you want to study. Spend time in it to get 3 or 4 books on that particular topic. Research them, study them, and by the end of of you reading those particular books, you'll be in the top 4% in the world.
Absolutely, that makes sense. So, if you had one secret that you'd give about digital marketing, what would that be?
I don't know if there's a particular
I understand
secret.
You've shared about books, you've shared about 15 hours and quite a number of things. Do you have just one secret that you say, this one I don't really tell people? I'm just going to ask for a favor that you can share it now.
Okay, I would say that I've got something that I don't tell people, but I'll say this again. I think the most important thing that I need to focus on is the aspect of relationships. If you can actually think in that particular line when it comes to your marketing, it will make your job a whole lot easier, because what you want to do at the end of the day, you want to create those dynamic relationships that end up being customer relationships, where people actually come and say, you know what, I like you as a person and I like your product. I love your integrity as a person, and I appreciate the information that you've given me. And you know what, I'm asking now, what next? One of the strategies that I use personally is that to market my products and services, I usually do free seminars. These are seminars whereby I just go, I get people in a room, and I spend my resources and actually getting those people in the room, and I market to them. And actually take them through a seminar for free. And one of the things that I always get from people at the end of the day is that, what else do you have? So what that does is that, what I'm doing rather is I'm creating a relationship, because I'm saying to somebody who is in need of a product or service, I'm saying, okay, I've got this information that I know is beneficial to you, and I'm going to give it to you for free. So what that does, as I was explaining earlier on about the trust barrier, is that it lowers that barrier of trust. Where people would not trust me before, they will now begin to actually trust me as an individual. They'll begin to trust me as an authority in a particular chosen niche, and they'll also begin to view me as an expert in that particular field, because I've given them value for free.
Absolutely.
And what that does in the mind of a person is that, okay, this person is able to give us this stuff for free, then what else does he have?
Okay.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So yeah, that reminds me of what you taught me back then about selling at an event. Now, what are some of the common mistakes that people experience in digital marketing?
Okay, this is something that happened to me, and I'm gonna share with you so that I help you out. There's what you call the shiny object syndrome. I think you know what I'm talking about, Kuda. It's whereby you start on one arm of, let's say for example, you start on blogging, and then you go there you go into blogging maybe for a week or 2 weeks or maybe a month, and then the next thing you hear about Facebook marketing, and then you are now into Facebook marketing, and then the next thing you're hearing about ebook marketing. You go there, and then the next thing you are hearing is you're hearing about binary options, you're hearing about bitcoins and stuff like that, and you're all over the place. But at the end of the day, you don't have anything that you've built. But what I'm just basically saying is that if you really spend time, pick a niche, just pick one, focus on that, become an expert in that niche, and then once you've actually built muscle in that, you've got something going, then you can go on to the next
the next thing.
Yeah.
Okay, so one of the most common problem is shiny syndrome.
Yeah, shiny
moving
object
from
syndrome.
one place to another.
One thing to the, and then it has suffered from it.
When you start a business for a week, and then it doesn't work. You start another one for 2 weeks.
Exactly.
It doesn't work. So it's like you're doing 2 steps frontwards and then 4 steps backwards.
Exactly. And it's a very common syndrome when it comes to digital marketing, because there's so much to offer, there's so much out there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So now some people may think this sounds too good to be true. Is there any catch? When I started out internet businesses and all, you are one of the people that I met that had the same beliefs with me, that shared the same dreams, the same goals with me, and we kind of just connected.
Definitely.
One of the challenges that I faced was really these internet things, it doesn't work, until I met people that would say yes, it does work. So some people might think digital marketing is just too good to be true. What's your comment on that?
Okay, Kuda. That's a question of perspective. I'll tell you this. Okay, we both know that we have had successes in this, and some people have actually been very successful in this. And for somebody who's looking in from the outside, they can be very skeptical and say, this does look too good to be true. And just to be honest as well, there are a lot of pranksters, scamsters out there, people who've actually made the name of internet marketing or digital marketing bad. They've painted it bad because of the information that is that they'll put out. Just like any area in life, there are some things that can work for some people. There are some things that will not work. Exactly.
Yeah.
But what I'm just basically saying is that, I'll just keep emphasizing this. You need to look for one particular arm of digital marketing and focus on that.
Absolutely.
And if you do that, build your muscle in that, you'll find that it isn't too good to be true. It actually is good, and it is true. But what I'll just need to say is that build muscle, and to build muscle you have to go to the gym, you have to pump those ions. It's hard work, it's not easy. But if you're expecting to be rich overnight, then it is too good to be true. But if you put in the work, put in the hours, then you can actually come out with something out of this.
Absolutely. So how much can one earn? I know a lot of people, when I come across a lot of questions on social network, people will be like, how much can I make per month? How much can I make in a year? How much can I make in a week through digital marketing?
It really depends on how good you are at what you're doing, and then it also depends on the chosen niche, the niche that you've chosen. What I've discovered as well from, let's say for example, I'll give you an example. One of the arms that I've learned about is information product creation. I just spoke to you about the book that I created earlier on that teaches how people how to actually create information products that they can profit from. What I discovered there is that there are certain segments of the market that are difficult to market, and there are some others that are easier to market. So depending on your chosen niche, let's say for example, let me give examples. If you're going to be doing something to do, let's say for example, you're a qualified chef and you're doing recipes, for example, or you are someone who's running a fashion blog, for example, there are topics or subjects that are easier to market than others. So, back to your question, how much can I earn? It really depends on your effort and on how big your market is. We're going to be talking about hundreds of dollars, we're going to be talking about thousands of dollars, we're going to be talking about tens of thousands of dollars. And I've actually, come across instances, and I've actually experienced some of these situations myself, where I've, actually earned at those levels. So it's not, I can't answer, in a specific question, answer and say, okay, this figure, but it really depends.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. So we're almost coming to the end of the interview, and you being a Zimbabwean, I since you reside in Zimbabwe, what sort of challenges do you face, and that you think others right now they're actually facing, and how did you overcome them? Maybe if you can just mention one or two challenges.
Okay.
That you face, yeah.
I think the biggest challenge that I've actually faced when it comes to Zimbabwe is because of our political situation with regards to relations to the Western world. We've had some embargoes, and we cannot access certain facilities as much as e-commerce is concerned. For example, I'll give a typical example. For years, it was impossible for us to open a PayPal account from Zimbabwe. Up until it was actually opened up recently, but up to now it's still like a limited version. It's not the full version of the PayPal that everyone else in the world is enjoying. So when it now came to me learning concepts, to do with digital internet marketing, I had to use technologies that were based in the Western world. And because I could not use some of those technologies, let's say for example to set up a PayPal account as a payment processor for an ebook that I was selling, I had to look for workarounds.
Okay.
I had to look for ways to actually maybe register a PayPal account from Zimbabwe using a workaround, or actually look for alternative platforms to actually use as a payment processor. So now what actually happened at the end of the day was that it's actually the reason that pushed me to actually start my blog, Income Freedom Zim, because I was talking about all those experiences that I'd had before, and the challenges that I'd faced and how I'd overcome them. So I think the biggest challenge for Zimbabwe in particular is that we've had these challenges because of our relationship or our political relations with the Western world.
Okay, I see. Thank you very much for sharing that. Now, where can people find information about the digital age?
Okay, I've got a website, and this is a concept. It's based around the concept that I taught you those years ago, and like what Kudo was saying, it worked then and it still works now. And this is basically a 3-page website that I run.
Okay.
And this website is just based around a lead capture page, a download page, and a thank you page. But what I do with this particular website is that I create email databases that I can market to over and over and over again for years to come. This is my release that I'm creating online. So I've got a product that I'm giving away, which talks about how to sell more products from a Zimbabwean perspective, but it's not only in a Zimbabwean perspective. This product will actually work better for someone who's out of the Zimbabwe context. Why? Because the limitations are not as much as those in Zimbabwe. So it means they've got more freedoms in terms of applying these particular concepts. So if you go to the digital age, .co.zw, you can download that product for free. It's absolutely free. It's a blueprint that will teach you some of the concepts that I've been talking about right now on how you can actually maximize your presence online to push more products and services to the market.
Absolutely. Thank you very much for sharing this. I hope a lot of people that are listening to this interview, they're actually going to download. So it's www.thedigitalage.co.zw. There's a free gift for you. Now, any last words for us? Maybe there's something that I did not ask you in some of the questions that I was asking. What would you say if you're going to give us a take home?
Okay. I'll say for somebody who wants to get into digital marketing, I think the biggest thing, or the one thing that I can actually say to you, is focus. I want to keep emphasizing that. Focus. Pick something, run with it. Run with it until you develop muscle in that particular area. And then you can actually now begin to build into other areas. if you miss the mark by trying to jump from one thing to the other, you spend years. Trust me, I spent years and years and years doing that, until I actually had to sit down and say to myself, you know what, you've been doing this thing for a long time, but you've been all over the place. So what I'm just basically saying to you is that, you know, pick a niche, be it or, you know, digital marketing, be it online marketing, sorry, be it like blogging, be it product creation. You know, pick a niche and stick with it. Develop, you know, your muscles in it. Research. There are a lot of resources on the internet that you can actually download for free, including my ebook that I just shared with you earlier on. You know, get those things and then, you know, teach yourself. You know, practice, and the more you practice, the better you become.
Absolutely. So, if you can actually do me a favor,
yes,
how can people contact you? If you can give them your contact, so that if they have questions or if they need help, they can actually reach out to you for help.
Okay. My email address is greens, GREENS, at thedigitalEdge.co.zw. So they can reach me on that.
Maybe you can actually repeat the email address again.
Okay, greens, GREENS, at THEDIGITALEDGE.co.zw. So that's greens at thedigitalEdge.co.zw.
Absolutely. So we've actually come to the end of the interview, and I would love to thank you very much, Greens, for sparing your time so that you can share the strategies that you shared with me some years back that have helped me, and what I still do in my business is to grow my income. And to the listeners that are here, thank you very much for listening to the interview, and please subscribe to our YouTube channel for more interviews on other aspects as well. With that being said, my name is Kudakwashi Chuma, the co-founder of InternetProClub.com. Bye for now.